Welcome, welcome. What is up, everybody? Happy Friday Eve. Welcome to episode 18 of the Assets Over Money podcast. Kev, how you doing, brother?
Man, I can't complain as usual, brother. You know that. No
Yeah,
complaint.
man. I think we got a special guest, don't we?
Hey, Winston-Salem State finest.
Yes, Ramley.
Know
There
it.
we go. With some stainless stand up, man. I didn't go there myself. I'm gonna claim it, so that way we all on here.
We won't hold that against you.
Yeah, there we go. I mean,
No.
it's one of the best ones to claim, so I'm gonna claim it, ain't it?
Yeah, yeah.
But no, I know you're a special guest. I want to make sure I give you a proper intro because you're a special guest for a number of reasons. I'll allow Kev to jump into that here in a few. But without further ado, really wanted to bring you up to the stage. So Brandy Byers is a top producing real estate broker, devoted mother of two, and community advocate. Known for her leadership, Brandy is an active board member of the Gathering Spot and the National Sales Network, where she shares her expertise and passion for empowering others. She was also featured in South Park Magazine's The It List, which I have not read yet and I need to go read, as one of Charlotte's most stylish individuals. And you guys can see the drip right now. She's a little stylish. I'm liking it. Love the hair. See you. I see you. As a leader, instructor, and coach at the Buyers Group, Brandy mentors and empowers others to succeed in real estate. Her influence goes beyond numbers. She leads by example, inspiring those around her to achieve greatness. So really, Brandy, thank you so much for being here, and really welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you guys for inviting me, really. Especially when I found out that I was the first female. I said, okay, yeah, I'm up for it.
Hey, we gotta save a special episode just for you, just
Thank
for you.
you.
But yeah, I mean, really want to kind of jump into it. So, I mean, really tell us your story. I've heard a lot of great things Kev has shared with me, and then reading about you, would love to just kind of hear your story.
Okay. So where should I start? I guess how I got started in real estate.
Yeah, I mean, sure, we can even take it back to Winston-Salem State if you want. From Winston-Salem, did you major in real estate, or how did you get into
No,
real
I
estate?
actually majored in business administration.
Okay.
My concentration was more finance and marketing. So it aligns. It really does. Sometimes I think that our path basically aligns us for what we're going to do in the future, right? So I totally now with the foresight see that, but I did not see that then. I come from a family of entrepreneurs and I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. But what I ended up doing was being in finance, great at it, but I did not like the office environment, all the politics and the rules and the time clock, like just wasn't my thing. Became very depressing for me. So once I got married and had my second child, well, I left that career before I had kids. And I started, actually, I was an event planner, right? So that just aligns as well because it's working with people, helping people with special days and all that kind of stuff, but it's extremely time consuming. And when I had my second child, when she was 2, she was diagnosed with autism. And it was just extremely demanding, and it just called for me to make a change, right? So I said, hey, I've always been interested in real estate, and it was just time to jump in. I said, let's try this. So I went ahead and got my real estate license, and that's how I began, actually. And that she was actually my why, but it was always like kind of there, like, oh, I like this. Every time I had friends purchasing property and doing things, I was always interested. I said, I'm going to do that one day. I didn't know what capacity though. I didn't know if I was going to be a real estate agent, a mortgage broker. I really didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah. And when did you make that decision?
That was 2017, I
believe. Okay. And with that, I guess there's a lot of different pathways that you could have went. Why specifically real estate, and why now? Why that day in 2017?
You know how you just like feel like you got to make a change.
Yeah.
I really did for my family dynamic, and I don't know. I just kind of went for it. Why real estate? I was interested in it. I'm always watching HGTV. We had purchased a home. I was just really interested in it. And I said, okay, let's try this out, right? And so I just did. I didn't know how it was gonna go. I really didn't understand how time consuming it was, but it still allowed me the flexibility that I needed at the moment, right?
Right.
So, because really, you know, what you make is up to you. How much time you put
Yep.
into it is up to you. So, I started out gradually and I was full time doing it, but it still allowed me. My daughter had at home speech therapy, occupational therapy. It still allowed me, you know, to be able to do what I needed to do for my family.
Right. Awesome. I freaking love that. Okay. And when you started off, did you go to a brokerage or did you kind of start your own? Could you kind of walk me through that? That
Okay.
timeline? Yeah.
Wait, and this is real life because my kid is right here.
Hey, we love it. We love kids on the show. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. No, I did. I started out with a brokerage actually.
Hmm.
When I started out, I researched and I looked at some brokerages,
Hmm.
and I knew I was looking at like my style. I always knew I wanted to do luxury real estate.
Yeah.
So I started out with Helen Adams, which is a real Charlotte-based firm. You know, sell a lot of properties in Ballantyne, and I wanted to learn. Really, that's why I went there. And they had an extensive training program, and they are very particular about the agents that they choose. They take you through like a rigorous interview process,
Yeah.
and so and it's because they pour a lot into you. So I stayed there for 3 years, and part of it was because I ended up having a really good mentor there. She was about in her 70s, but she had been killing it in real estate for decades. And she came from Florida and she moved here because of her kids.
Yeah.
So she really didn't have a network to sell here, but she really knew what she was doing. So she would
Mhm.
literally just like, I had an unpaid mentor, and that's unheard of, you know.
Yeah.
She just loved me and she said, come on, girl, come with me. This is what you do. Like let's I mean, and she's an older lady, so that's exactly how she was talking to me. And she's like, you know, you need to figure out all about this community. You know, you need to pick this kind of clients. You need to make sure you know these type of people. And that firm itself, like all of our meetings were at country clubs. Most of the agents there, they played golf all day. And that's how they met their clients. So I really learned the importance of your network being at that firm. And I really learned how to do real estate at a very high level, right? Early
Right.
on. And that was not my clientele at the time. But after being there for 3 years, I said, okay, I can't do real estate how they're doing real estate, but how
Right.
can I do real estate, right?
Mm.
And that's where I came up with luxury lifestyle, because it's really not about the price point, right? I want all of my clients to receive luxury service. So I say luxury is a service, not a price point,
Right.
because I do work with all price points, but it really just, I created my own brand.
Mm.
And currently I'm at Henderson Ventures, and it's a luxury boutique firm. And but that was the journey, right? I started out there and I ended up meeting someone who was a friend of mine, who said, hey, you need to meet this woman. She started a brokerage and it's going
Yeah.
to be luxury and it's going to be, you know, particular type of agent. And I met her early on before she started the firm.
Yeah.
And so I kind of was like one of the first agents there that wasn't like a family member or a close friend that she had for years.
Yeah. Man, that was awesome. So definitely, kind of quite the journey. Now, one of the things that you pointed out there, and I'll say one more thing, because I know Kevin got some questions. I'm gonna pass over to him here. One of the things that you said I really stood out, and I've seen that as a commonality of a lot of successful people, especially the folks who've been on the show, of the power of a mentor. It seems like everybody we've had as a guest started out with a mentor. So with
Yeah.
that, how important do you believe that mentorship was to, I guess, your success so far?
Extremely important. I think when you're starting out, right, you don't know, real estate school really only teaches you how to pass that test, right?
Yep.
You really don't know how to follow up with clients. You really don't know how to turn, make a transaction stick. You really don't know all of those things. And even though my training program through the brokerage taught me all of the contracts and how to do everything properly, my mentor is the one who was like, oh, I don't care how they're doing it. This is how you need to do it. She's the one who told me, I had a business page and I had my personal page. She was like, yeah, but I like seeing you. You need to open up
Mm.
your personal page. That's private. A mentor is someone that can really help propel you to the next level.
100%.
Mhm.
Hey, and I'll shut up for a little bit. Kev, what you got, brother?
No, Brandy, hey, we appreciate you being on here tonight, man. I spoke very highly of you, as I know you're doing that luxury side. Being that, you were a, business and marketing major in this climate that we're in right now, in this market we're in this economic field, and, what
Mhm.
you have, how are you marketing now? How are you generating clientele? And what are you doing different to stand out?
Well, honestly, I'm doing all of the same things that I was doing before, right? I think 2020 really let me know, hey, everything is digital, everyone being at home. So being extremely consistent with what I'm doing digital and expanding that. If my success was in Instagram, now I'm expanding to YouTube. I'm putting emphasis on LinkedIn. I'm making sure that I'm doing all those things, right? And I'm being consistent in the community, because a lot of times you'll just meet someone face to face. And I always tell my agents, if you go to an event and you meet one person, then, you know, that's success right there. You didn't waste your time, right? In addition to that, Kev, it is a back to the basics. I mean,
Yeah,
I know people don't believe in like cold calling or door knocking. I'm not doing any of that, but I am calling my past clients, right? It's okay to ask for the business.
right.
Hey, I know y'all been on the well, y'all thinking about selling, don't forget about me, kind of thing. It's okay to like send them a text and say, don't forget you have a friend in real estate. Sending out mailers, like sending out brochures or providing value to people, you really have to go back to the basics with what you're doing. And I know we can get to a high level and we forget about those things, and we're like, hey, I'm seeing success over here. You need to double up on everything that you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. So where are you seeing growth at, far as what price points? Because like for me, I know we do luxury too.
Yeah.
Uh, Doing too much with my license these days, but like, are you what price points are you seeing that are selling, like still hot and still selling in Charlotte?
You know, I have a variety of clientele. What I will say is, with the higher price points, people are taking their time. I still have those clients, but they're thinking, should I be holding on to my money? So it's not such a fast, easy transaction, but it's happening. So, but what I also see is, Charlotte's a different kind of market. No matter what, people are moving here and they have to move here, right? So they're gonna buy no matter what, because they have no choice if they're moving here. So I mean, I have anything from like the three price point, and the sevens is a hot like number right now. I think around like 750. That's like that in between.
Yeah, I always let that. It's all
Y'all,
right.
this is my daughter. This is Brooklyn, and this is what we get when we're at home. She's like,
Hey,
"This is
what's
my
up,
mom.
Brooke?
We're at home. This is my
Man?
time."
My daughter do the same thing, when I'm at home, and she jumps. Rich can tell you, man, she'll jump in there quick. Uh, but yeah, man. So I mean, being you're at that price point, and you know that a lot of folks that are 400,000 and less are getting priced out. What's the conversation like with them right now, being that the interest rates are at 7%, and some people that want to buy are getting priced out? How are you like having those conversations right
Telling them to act quick and and make strong offers. The other thing is, I'm looking for every incentive that I can find. Because people need that, right? There's so many loan programs. I mean, every day I'm calling lenders like, what do you have? What can we use? How can we make this work? Kind of thing. So it's finding creative solutions. But I'm also telling my people at that price point, hey, this is average price point for a lot of people.
now?
So the same home that you're thinking about now, you want to go home and think about, somebody else is going to make an offer, right? So if you want to have a chance, you need to make the offer right away. We don't need to wait to see this tomorrow, kind of thing. So having those conversations, and also telling them, hey, if the interest rate's going to bump you up there, maybe we need to shop a little below your price point. But I'm an awesome negotiator, so I'm going to always try to get them some seller incentives to, or builders are offering great incentives as well that can buy
Now,
down the interest rates and kind of going the new construction route.
yeah, yeah. Now I saw you sold some of those. What did they look like? Townhomes, but they didn't have a garage, or they had a
Hmm.
shared, but they still sold over $1 million. We got a house right now, and so I was up on you when you sold that
it's
joint.
it's no, that's location.
Exactly. Exactly. So I mean, I'm sure you have a good relationship with that builder, because I see they got some more coming up in Barclay Downs right now.
Hmm. um
I mean, the relationship piece it goes a long way. We always talk about not all here. You can't say we can say James Harden now, because they're out to play.
mhm.
Do a lot of basketball analogies here, but like far as your relationship piece, right? You know, maintaining those relationships. How are you going about that, right? So with your builders that you have right now, how are you connecting with more builders, or are you just going with the ones you have and kind of meeting folks on the way?
I wholeheartedly, even if a builder is working or someone is already having an agent, I still wholeheartedly believe in having genuine connections. So when I have a genuine connection with someone, I am holding on to those connections and making sure I can provide value. Sometimes they might call me and ask me about a price point or what I think about a neighborhood, because I actually offer a unique perspective. I'm from Charlotte, so I really know, what it was like and what it could be like, or, hey, what's the next up and coming neighborhood. So I provide value. That's the biggest thing with any of my relationships. Hey, let's go to lunch, or hey, I have an invite for this. I know you like this. Is this something that you like to do? Kind of thing. So relationships are everything, right? Because even if they're not buying, they could introduce you to someone, or even if they're not using you at the moment, doesn't mean that they won't, you know? So
Exactly.
just staying connected and just making sure that you're always providing value.
Right. Yeah, that's the key right there, providing value. So I mean, at the end of the day, man, I mean, you're doing big luxury for someone that's coming up behind you that wants to be an aspiring realtor or investor. What type of advice are you going to give them? What, I mean, you know, for the folks that are out there listening to our podcast right now, what advice are you giving them for this market where we're at the top of the seller's
Hmm.
market and we're about to be at a buyer's market right now? You know, how are you pulling them up? How are you even pulling anyone up? You know what I mean? I hope you're not just doing this by yourself, but at the end of the
I
day,
Yeah.
what do you tell that person aspiring to be in a luxury real estate position right now?
Okay. Um, well, the first thing is I do have a real estate team, the buyers group, which is agents that I bring on to work with me. And what they get from working with me is they get free mentorship, they get coaching, and I'm basically, helping them along with their transactions. Some of them are newer agents, and some of them are just agents that have been in the field but haven't seen that growth, right? um Number one is just working on helping them work on their brand. I think having a brand that people recognize helps, right? Because you need to be the person that they think about when they think about real estate. Otherwise they're just going to look someone up and they're going to say, hey, I forgot you did that. The other thing that I am teaching is a back to the basics thing, is basically people always want to go out and look for new people. They're like, I want to go to this event and meet someone new and all those kind of things. What about the people who already know and like you? What about your current sphere? They say, well, I don't want to talk to them. They already have a house. Yeah, your neighbor might already have a house, but they have friends, they have family members. They're going to be your biggest coaches, right? I mean, they're going to be the people who root for you the hardest. So I always say start there. The people who you go to church with. If you have kids who are in sports, the parents, the other parents on the team. I'm just teaching them how to tap into their sphere
Yeah,
in an effective way, right? There's no reason why people should be around you and they don't know you do real estate. When I first got started in real estate and I didn't have the business all the time, I was at my son's school and he was in kindergarten. And I was up at the school room, mom, and they say, hey, can you come up here and sub? And I'd be doing, all of my work on the laptop. But you better believe every week something was going in the teachers' mailboxes. I
yeah,
was bringing them, desserts and snacks and letting them know I was in real estate. I'm like, okay, let me host an event for you guys and show you some programs that you can get as a teacher. I wasn't looking for that luxury client, right? That's going to come. I was continuing to put my brand out there and continuing to show properties, but I was just starting with the people that were around me.
yeah. No, that's good. That's good to know, man. I mean, being a realtor myself and a broker myself, yo, I mean, I don't do much of those duties anymore, but I mean, you gotta have that, I guess, that avenue where you can connect with people, whether it's
You
at,
do.
Yeah.
you know, doing the RIA meetings, whatever it is, you gotta have that connection. So,
I mean, and I mean that wholeheartedly with anybody. My daughter, at one point she was having seizures, and the fire department up the street was at my house all the time because they make it before the ambulance. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come and bring them some donuts and a thank you card, and my business
yeah,
card thing is attached because I'm like, they already know us. They've been to my house. I mean,
Yeah. I actually got a question to add to that, because you're pretty much a really big advocate of being like a, this is your personal brand, right? So two parts, and I think you've kind of talked about it briefly, but hoping you can dive a little bit more. How important is that role of really buying into your personal brand? And then I guess second part would be, what kind of return have you seen from doing that, of being an advocate, of living your cards everywhere, of constantly essentially marketing yourself as your biggest, your postcard.
Um, it is truly like sowing seeds. Um, I mean, it may not come to fruition today, but you will see some type of return on it. And that is really what I preach. My saying, and I say this with my agents and every one of my brokers know I say this. I say, if you're not working in your business, meaning showing clients, uh, looking at houses with clients, sending clients homes, working on paperwork, then you should be working on your business at all times. And I literally schedule myself time to work on my business, on my brand, whether I want to create a video, some type of marketing, and putting yourself out there. That's where I see the biggest return. So you were asking, how firm of a believer I am. When I first got started, remember I told you I used to be an event planner?
Mm-hmm.
I had someone say to me once, well, my cousin does real estate and so do you. So I'm going to let you do my wedding and I'm going to let them sell me a house.
Right.
Because they still saw me as an event planner. So, hey, I still needed the money and I was still throwing events to it. I stopped posting events because I didn't want them to confuse that. I wanted you to see me as a real estate agent. So I made sure whatever I was doing, I wanted you to see me as a real estate agent. And it pays off because when I walk into an event, someone will say, I know you. Oh, you're the realtor. I don't care what else you know about me. That's the one thing I want you to know about me because I want the business. So being top of mind, that's very important because on the spur of the moment, when someone asks, their friend, hey, I need a real estate agent. Who do you recommend? I want to be the person that they recommend. And the only way to do that is to stay top of mind. And the only way to do that is if you are branding yourself and you are putting yourself out there.
Yeah. And what you're saying there kind of reminds me, especially talking about sowing seeds, is about the story or the parable of the Chinese bamboo tree. Have you heard that story before?
No, tell me.
Okay, so like have you heard that, Kev?
Yes, I have. But
Okay,
go ahead.
I love it. So Chinese bamboo tree. There was a farmer who planted a bamboo tree and watered it every day for 4 years straight, no visible growth. On the fifth year, within 6 weeks, it grew over 80 feet. So the Chinese bamboo tree basically talked about patience and perseverance. And while you're out there sowing seeds, it may not come in fruition today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not even next year. But as long as you're constantly watering, you're staying consistent, staying disciplined, eventually it will come to fruition, and that growth is going to be exponential. So that what you said there just kind of sparked that. So thank you for sharing that. I think that what you shared is a true testament to that, based off of your success, which I think is freaking awesome. So yeah, no, thank you for sharing
Thank
that.
you. I mean, it honestly does work. Years ago, it was a woman I knew. She had a brunch that she was doing annually. And I went to the brunch and I bought a table. And, no one bought a house for me, but they all saw my stuff. They signed up. I gave away free things. And I met a girl who I ended up chatting with, probably like, you just meet somebody and that's who you just chatting with at the bar, chatting with at the bar. And she lived in Atlanta. A year later, she called me and said, hey, guess what? We're moving to Charlotte. And that was a luxury sale for me. And then she referred me to her friend. But I'm like, that was a whole year later, but that was
Yeah.
worth my little $200 that I did for that vendor table. I didn't see it then. And now she's a repeat client. We're getting ready to do a custom home for her. So
Wow.
it truly works.
Dang. So when people really say they got a realtor, it's like, I got a realtor on stand, but they talking about you then. Especially in Charlotte.
Absolutely. I mean, that's another key part about it, Kevin, is retaining your clients.
Mm.
Right.
Because they're gonna buy again. Their first home, they're gonna have a second one, and that's why I don't buy into the hey, I only do this price point kind of
Right.
thing. I don't count people out. I love it all.
No discrimination.
Not at all.
Hey, so I mean, hey, with that said, man, I mean, what's the end goal for you, right? So, I know
Mhm.
you're doing, you're doing the luxury sales, but what's the end goal for you? How do you want retirement to look like? What are you doing for cash flow, or what's the plan going forward?
Well, I have been thinking on that for a while. First, I thought, oh, I need to get my contractor's license. No, it is really development. I love real estate. And I don't think I'm ever gonna stop doing it. It's like my mentor, she was in her 70s and still selling real estate, right? At that point, you may only be doing a certain price point because I'm not gonna be doing all this running around. But this is also why I started a team. I do like mentoring, I do like working with other agents. And so I know that I'll always do that as well. There are a lot of people who don't sell real estate at all, and they are only real estate coaches. That wouldn't be me. You know, I'll still sell real estate with coach, but I am heavily interested in development.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Say what? So I mean, we do development too. We've been developing since 2017.
Yes,
Um,
I know.
so I mean, like, we need to connect on that end, man, and see how we can kind of help each other there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, and I definitely got some more questions, right? So for sure,
Mhm.
I'm always full of questions. Um, so I've heard you mention community a few times now. So it seems like you have a strong focus on, let's say, community engagement. How do you how do you balance those two, I guess, aspects of your career, and how do they complement each other in your life and your work?
Um, Honestly, I only do things that are authentic to me. That way, it doesn't feel like work,
Hmm.
right? And so let's say I'm a member of NSN National Sales Network. I love, love, love that organization. Why? Because it's a lot of professional development and it's things that we don't think about. Like we had a class we went to and they were teaching us proper tools of communication. And this was like an HR director from a huge corporation,
Yeah,
and it was things that you don't think about. And I'm a wholeheartedly believe in continuing to develop yourself and personally and professionally. So that really served me personally and professionally. Not only that, I'm around this great group of people who are also in sales but not necessarily real estate, and from that group, I mean, I've sold a lot of them houses, so it goes hand in hand that way. I do things that, you know, I enjoy. And every year I do this thing in November, December where I reevaluate the things that I'm a part of and I look at how it serves me. And if it no longer serves me, I get rid of it.
I like
And
that.
I do that every single year.
What here? And I'm gonna ask. Okay, so for those out there, why do you do that? Why do you do that? So trimming the fat, so to speak.
Absolutely. How can I grow if I'll be stagnant if I continue doing something? It might have been good for one period of my life, but is that the way that I should spend? You know, time is your most valuable asset, right? And the biggest thing on my plate is my family, right? You know, God, your family, and then you have your career. So these other things, they're like add-ons, they're a piece of the pie. But if they don't serve you, if they offer no nutrition, why are you doing them?
Mhm. Yeah, that's a lesson, or really some advice a lot of people I think need to hear, because we can get caught up
Absolutely. Some
on
people are just doing stuff. Well, I've been doing it for years.
exactly.
And
And I'll be real with you. I have. I know I'm talking to two realtors on here, so don't hate me. But I have a love hate relationship with realtors, especially working as an investor. You got some, your rock star realtors. We call them, we call them unicorns because they're so rare. The ones that
Mhm,
can help you with everything, right? They know investments, tried and true. They don't
mhm,
just post a house and say perfect investment opportunity, but it not at all. You know what I mean? But
uh-huh.
I, I'm so glad you said it, because a lot of real I speak with a lot of realtors, and I'm talking to them about a house that is listed as a great investment opportunity, and I'm like, hey, well, what do you think about these potential options? I'd be looking at potentially buying it, a couple of different ways, like this, and this. They're like, oh, I wouldn't do that. I'm like, well, why wouldn't you be open to that? Because I've been doing it this way for 20 years, or I've been a broker. This is my favorite one. I've been a broker in the industry for 18 plus years. So if I haven't heard of it, it's just not true. And I'm just like, all
Yeah.
right, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
hearing you say that, letting go of the things that don't serve you, and constantly learning, being a lifelong learner. You're seeing a lot of the greats in any field are lifelong learners. The time where you feel like you've truly arrived is a time I feel like not to be morbid, I feel like that's true death. The death of the self is when you kind of feel like you arrived and you feel like you've accomplished everything and you feel stagnant. I think that's true death. I think true growth is constantly learning and constantly developing.
I mean, I agree. I just had a conversation with someone earlier today and they were asking me, what to do. You're always out. And I'm like, it is not what you think. If I am out somewhere, you better believe I'm getting some value from it. And that includes my friends. Literally, when I sit down and I'm breaking bread with my friends, they are people who I can truly learn from. Like, all of them are successful in their own right. And I'm getting something new from them, or whether that be a connection, they're giving me a new book. And I'm going to quote one of my favorite lenders, George Wise. He told me, he said, hey, if I am not able to, get more money by being around you, or make more connections, then why are we spending so much time together? We're just goofing off then. Like, we're not in college. Like,
Exactly.
and that made so much sense.
Mm. And it's all about value, right? If
It
people are adding
is.
value in your life, you don't need them around. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that is to you, I know it comes easy, it seems, right? But that is truly a really, it's a hard thing for a lot of people, because you think because we grew up together, we've been around, or shoot, just because
Mm-hmm.
we family doesn't mean you deserve a handout, whatever that it is.
Uh-huh.
Like, you have to almost, like, this is one of the best pieces of advice I got. I was a senior in high school. My athletic trainer, I was having a hard time. I was doing a whole bunch of stuff for a lot of people, and he knew it. He sat me down because I was late to training one day. At the end of training, ran me ragged. At the end of the training, he sat me down. He's like, Rich, what's going on? And I told him about some of the things that I was doing, things I was doing for other people, yada yada. This. He's like, Rich, at some point in your life, you need to get a little selfish. You need to think about you, because you have these goals and your dreams that you shared with me, and right now XYZ is holding you back. So if you don't get serious about it, it's just not going to happen. And
Mm-hmm.
it completely, flipped my mindset, because, you know, for me, and for speaking for Kevin as well too, I know for us, we're all about, trying to get what we can achieve. We have our goals and dreams that we want to achieve, so that way we can serve more people. It's all service based, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that is powerful. So glad you said that.
It's the truth. I said it earlier about time being your, most valuable asset, and I'm very, very intentional with my time.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you, okay, so could you dive a little deeper on that, expand on that a little more?
Okay. I will sit down, and on Sunday nights I'm creating my schedule for the week. And I do that every
Mhm.
single night. I look over what I have to do the next day, and I'm like, should I be doing this? I'll literally like scratch it off, like, or should I be going? What do I need to do first? Right. That's one way. The other way, like, I have cut out a lot of stuff. Traditionally we think, oh, we have to cook, we have to clean, we have to do all these things. If I can pay somebody else to do it, I'm gonna do it, because my time. Yeah, I'm serious. Like, why am I cleaning? And I used to do that, stay up to midnight cleaning. I'm like, why would I do that when I could be resting
See,
and have be better tomorrow and not sluggish?
yeah.
Uh, you have to be just extremely intentional with your time.
Yeah, and this is why we go live, like just right there, because a lot of people don't say, they won't say that. It's all the fluff that I do. I wake up at 2 in the morning, and the first thing that I do is I reflect, and I hop in the ice
No.
bath, and I do this, and then you know what I mean. We've all seen the viral, the
Mm,
day in a life thing, but that's so
mhm.
real. Like, as you start to elevate, you have to start eliminating different things out of your life. Whether you got to pay for, if you can afford to pay for somebody to cook, then
Absolutely.
do it. If you can afford to pay for somebody to clean your house, so that way you can make more money, you are your biggest
It pays
asset.
for itself
Exactly.
because
Time management, man. Time management is real, yo.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you got to be able to manage that time.
Oh, absolutely.
So Brandy, now you were talking about books. Now we love books on this podcast, man.
Do.
Tell
Mm.
us three of your top three books that you're reading or that you've read or you pass along to someone else. What you got?
All right. So the first book that I read when I first got in real estate is The Go Giver.
That's my favorite book. I'm not even trying to
And
get
I am looking over there on the counter because I'm reading a
Hey,
book that I just
don't
got
get
this
too hyped,
weekend.
Rick. Don't
that
get too
that's
hyped,
like
bro.
my favorite book. I'm not even read it twice, at least twice a year. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the very first book that I read when I first got into real estate. Like the week when I got my license and signed on to a brokerage. The owner of the brokerage gave me that book. He literally was like, "Here, if you haven't read it," and
Wow.
I've knocked that one out. I am reading a book right now, and it is bugging me. It's like that I do not know the name of it. I just got it this weekend, and I'm all in because this book really like outlines what you should be doing, and then it gives you homework to it. And it's from the young lady who created Afrotech.
Okay.
Um, and it's bugging me that I don't know the name. I literally just started this book this week, and I love it because it actually gives you actionable tasks. And I'm like, okay, let me tap into this. And I'm so mad. It's like I want to run up there and get it. But that one is what one I'm really into right now. I went to an event, a conference this weekend. Mom Juice. One of the founders is my friend. Shout out to Macy. And she had that woman as a speaker, and I thought that she was phenomenal. And on top of that, she's achieved great things. And we got the book, and I have been into it.
Is this Rewrite Your Rules by Morgan
That's
DeBarr?
right.
Okay.
Rewrite your rules. And
Okay.
that's my philosophy anyway. Like we literally, we kind of taught in school teaches us that it's rules to things, and this is how things should be done. And I'm like, we really need to like throw that notion out. And that's what Rewrite Your Rules is about. It's about doing things your way, how to achieve your highest self.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I
So
like
we
it. I like it
what's
already.
give me one more that's like changed your life, yo, like made you, look at things a different way.
um I have to look up this book because I haven't read it in a while and I have it upstairs. This is a biblical book though. It's it's from a doctor. And my memory is so bad with books because I just went through this cycle where I just, was trying to read all these books at one time. But this book changed my life because again, I heard her at a conference and she basically ties science with the Bible.
Hmm.
And I'm such a literal person that just really helped me in my relationship with God. And that conference changed my life. And I can't even give y'all the name of the book, but that's gonna be on my top list right now.
Yeah, that's all good. But
Yeah.
you can just tell us. We get it later, right? No, but that's good. I think reading is definitely something that is essential, and something we constantly say on here before. But they always say, like, if you want to
Use
hide
the
something from a black person,
time,
yeah, no,
yeah.
time, and if you want
This is
to
one of the
hide something
time
from a black
things.
person, put it
So
in a book.
I prefer to read, but this is
Mhm.
one of the time things where in the car I am not talking on the phone. I'm gonna listen to it.
Yeah.
So audio is my friend now. So I'm not doing too much of the page turning, but I am reading this book now.
Hey, reading is reading, they say. So as
I
long as you
mean,
get in,
you getting it one way or another.
yeah, as long as you getting it in, that's what's up. That's
Mhm.
where all the secrets are at, man. In the books.
That's
In
it.
the books.
All right, Kevin, what's one of your favorite? Give me one. Let me
Man,
let me give me one to read.
I mean, I'm not a big. I hated to read when you knew me in college. But I'm like you now, man. I do a lot of audiobooks, and I would say one of my favorite, after Rich Dad Poor Dad would probably be The Second Chance by Robert Kiyosaki. You know what I'm saying? A lot
Oh,
of people
second
talk
chance.
about it. Yeah, a lot of people don't talk about it, but that joint kind of changed me in a lot of ways. And looking at cash flow a different way versus big checks. And another one that I like too is The Millionaire Next Door.
Oh yeah,
I,
I read that one.
yeah, I love that.
I haven't read Second Chance, but now that's on my list now.
Yeah, Second Chance
Yeah.
is, that was powerful for me. I mean, of course, and Rich Dad Poor Dad was actually the first book I ever read, like straight through. But now I just
Mhm.
listen to, a lot of books. I'm gonna tell you one that's really pulled on my spirit was The Color of Law by Richard Rothstein.
Mm.
I don't know if y'all read about that, but it talks
Mm.
about how America segregated us, from not allowing black folks to buy property and how the wealth gap got the way it is, right? And it,
Mhm.
that was, when we bought that, when we built that $1 million house on Park Road, man, when we first pulled the deed restriction, it said no one outside the white race can own or occupy the property until 1968.
Mm.
So that was law all across the nation in every city where there were areas where black people couldn't buy real estate. So that like really pulled on my spirit. So when we teach our classes, because I've been teaching real estate too since 2018.
I
We
did
do.
not know that, Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, my pastor kind of gave me the platform to do it, so we did it for free. So teaching people about the importance of real estate and land.
Mhm.
And so, that, the wealth gap is like major because of real estate and land, basically. You know what I'm saying? We didn't get that wealth to pass down, man. So that one right there, man, like is really powerful because it's true. And it talks about how, America did it.
That is the main reason why I do not just do luxury real estate. Why I branded myself as a lifestyle realtor, because I really wanted people to understand the power of owning property. That was a huge thing on my spirit. The other thing is, women couldn't buy real estate either.
Right.
So, and which is so ironic because I would say over half of my clients are single women.
Wow.
I would have never thought that.
I know people say that all the time. You would think it was men. No, it's single women, single mothers. And I'll just be so excited for them. Like, yes, you should do this, and you can do this on your own.
Yeah.
And here's the impact. So, absolutely.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's how, I encourage folks every day, man. I mean, you can't know where you're going until you know your history, man. You know what I mean? And how we got here. So, it's just, it's funny when I tell people projects first built for white folks and they get like, they mouths drop. You know what I'm saying? And how they cipher white folks out of the projects to these suburban areas like Park Road and, all these different areas.
Yeah.
And they left us in the projects. And we're still there today.
Hey, so, it takes folks like us to really just stand up and make a change, man, because ain't nobody coming to save you. So if you want to make it happen, you got to do it yourself, man. Go find a mentor, find somebody, find your passions and make it happen.
Exactly. They're always in the business of encouraging and pulling someone up. You know what I mean? So, I've been doing residential since 2006. And, I'm always pulling someone up, showing them the ropes, kind of helping them understand how to fix and flip or development or whatever. But people are pulling me up to commercial right now because, that's where I'm going. That's what we're doing right now. We still do residential, but that commercial piece is how you're going to retire and how you're going to, take care of yourself when you're 65, 70, 80 years old. So, keep encouraging, keep motivating. And, once you start following Richard, you'll see, hey, he's motivating me every morning. Trust me, every day.
I got you.
Wait, he's already been great on this call.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we definitely got to connect some more because Kev was telling me about. I'm like, man, this person sounds awesome as hell. So, but yeah, no. To be honest, you've answered a lot of my questions. For sure. I really don't have anything else for you, Kev. Do you have anything else?
I think we've kind of covered everything, man.
Yeah.
But definitely appreciate you, girl, and we just got to keep growing and keep connecting.
I wholeheartedly believe that your network is everything. So I truly appreciate you guys having me on. It's been enlightening. I enjoyed talking to you both. And thank you for thinking of me.
So one more question before you go. We always
you got you.
Oh my goodness.
What would you tell your 18-year-old self right now? How would you encourage your 18-year-old self?
I would tell my 18-year-old self, get into real estate. I'm kicking myself that I wasn't doing this in college. Honestly, I would tell my 18-year-old self that very thing because, and that's why I like Rewrite Your Rules. I think we are taught that we have to choose a lane and stay in it and put ourselves in a box. Like, this is, what are you going to do? You got to do this. And I was kind of like, I want to do this. I want to do that. And people are like, you're doing too much. You're never doing too much. We are multifaceted beings. I am truly a multifaceted being. You can do it all. So that's what I would tell my 18-year-old self.
I heard that. I like that.
Awesome. Well, shoot, Brandy, if you just stick around real quick, we're going to go into the back room here. But everybody else, thank you guys for tuning in. This was episode 18 of the Assets Over Money podcast. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Out.